everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Clairpoint Podcast with me, Randy Prizzle. How you guys all doing out there? Everything good, shway, crispy, irie. Let's get on to this episode for this week. Come on to Randy's advice. Let's get straight into it. Our bedroom game is ending our marriage. Oh, this doesn't look good at all, but let's find out a bit more from what this person is saying. My husband and I roleplay kidnap our hostage last week. It was fully consensual, talked through with safe words and rules. The idea was he'd be tied to a chair with breaks for food, bathroom, water and check-ins. He wanted the no phone, no screens rule to make it feel real. I was the one enforcing it. On October 10th, while we were mid-scene, the president announced new tariffs on China and crypto tanked. He usually manages his position hourly. Because of the scene, he didn't check his phone or charts. He didn't safe word or ask to stop. I asked twice if he wanted to pause, and he told me to keep going because he was committed to the bit. By the time we had wrapped, his account was wrecked. He hadn't set proper stops or hedges. He panicked, liquidated late, and watched years of gains disappear in a day. He'd been using Awaken for his crypto tracking. Said it helped him feel like a real grown-up trader. But when everything crashed, it didn't matter. Watching those numbers implode felt like watching his whole sense of control vanish. Now he says it's my fault for keeping him prisoner. That if I'd let him check markets, he could have saved it, and he wants to break up. I feel sick. I enforced the rules, but we agreed on them together. We had a clear line that in real life emergencies would end the scene immediately. Neither of us knew tariffs were coming. I didn't hide my alerts. I didn't hide any alerts. I wasn't doom scrolling either. Part of me feels like I failed him. Another part is angry that our entire financial safety net was riding on active management with no risk controls, and I'm being made the villain because my kink made bad timing worse. I apologised for not pushing harder to pause. I offered help with bills, to sell some stuff, to go to therapy, to take long breaks from any kinky play. He's furious, and he says he can't look at me without thinking about that chair. He moved to a friend's place last night. I'm terrified I ruined the marriage, even though we both consented and checked in. I hate that I was the one tying the knots while his money unraveled, and I hate that part of me resents him for gambling our stability and then putting the blame on me when the coin landed wrong. I don't know if I should accept the blame and keep peace or hold the line that shared consent and personal risk management both matter. Right now I'm just ashamed, grieving and lost. Well, this is a weird one, isn't it? You know what I mean? The end game is you both consented, and obviously you both consented to what foreplay escapade you guys were on, you know what I mean? And the fact of the matter is you both said safe words or whatever, so you shouldn't really be to blame for this. If anything, he's to blame for not knowing or remembering what the safe word was. This is weird to talk about. It's absolutely weird, but hey, you two, that's your kinks. That's what you guys decide to do. I don't live in your house, so I don't really care, to be honest. So, but the end game here is you've just got to accept it, that his part to play was not using the safe word that you both discussed. So this kind of just falls on him, you know what I mean? I guess you feel kind of part to blame because obviously in some ways you didn't really let him go or whatever, and that felt like it stopped the whole process of money and transition, whatever, going through and all that. I don't know much about this whole financial market and everything that's gone on, crypto and whatever, I don't know. So I think you just have to stop blaming yourself. You just have to look at it and go, do you know what? It was his fault because he should have said the safe word or whatever. And that's just all I've got for you guys. This is just too kinky for me, bruv. It's too kinky, you know? But as I said, that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. But my thing is, you shouldn't blame yourself. You should blame him. It's as simple as that. Next one. I lost my V card at a massage parlor and almost ended myself yesterday. This is a bit dark, but let's go. Needed to get this off my chest. I have not had a good success with women in my life. Tell me about it. Almost 23, and I have never ever been on a date. I spent the last 5 years getting jacked in the gym. I was able to get jacked, but realized that women don't really care if you have tons of muscle or not. I moved to a city last year that has a massage parlor every block. A friend told me recently about his co-worker went to one 5 minutes down the road from where I lived, and he got a happy ending plus more. Happy days, happy days. After I heard this, it always stuck in the back of my mind, and I kept thinking about it every time. I drove past on the way to school or work. To school or work? One or the other. But anyways, I finally reached my breaking point yesterday. I just got my paycheck, had an unexpected day free, and felt extremely lonely. Show me the reason of being lonely. I sat in my room for a while, debating it heavy, and after 30 minutes of heavy contemplating, I turned off my brain, got in my car, stopped by the bank, and drove to the massage parlor. I have never felt more resistant or paranoia when going into any place in my whole life. Once I opened the door, I knew my fate was sealed. As soon as I walked in, it was exactly as I had imagined it. Everything was super crammed, dimmy lighting, smelled like a plug in the wall, air fragrance, and had furniture that was probably acquired from flea market in the 1980s. After about a minute of standing there awkwardly, a small Asian lady dressed in lingerie, whose age I couldn't been about 28 to 30 to 58, comes around the corner and asks how long I want. I told her 30 minutes, and she takes me around the corner to one of her rooms. I walked in and she tells me to get fully naked and to face down on the table. She steps out for a bit while I do my thing. The room was lit with a dim red light, had a single massage table in the middle, a table with a lamp, tissues, wipe, and some other miscellaneous items on it, and a clothing rack. After I did what she asked, I sat face down and waited for her to come in. She opened the door quietly, doesn't say anything, straddles me, and starts massaging. I have never had a massage before, so I was extremely tight. Somewhere around 10 minutes in, she tells me that she's getting a bit tired. As she's massaging me, it's like massaging a rock. Logic rock and all that. In all honesty, I was pretty tired and started falling asleep. I shot awake when she asked me if I wanted any extras. I asked how much were they, and she said it would be an extra 60 for HJ. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, like half job, and extra 200 for full sex. I said 200. And then started to hear her taking off her clothes and immediately got rock hard. She still was massaging me from the back, and when she flipped me over, she got right into it. I spared the details, but as soon as I finished, I felt a level of shame, regret, and discomfort that I've never felt before in my life. Tears started running down my face, but I wasn't crying. The lady could see it as it was too dark. Couldn't see, it was too dark. We cleaned up, I got dressed, I paid her, and she left the room and started scrolling on her phone in front of the desk as I passed her on the way out like nothing happened. Wow, this story's long. After I left the parking lot, I started weeping like when I used to when I was a little kid. I did this for about 20 minutes while driving to a cliff. That's when it was pretty obscure. I got out of the car, still sniffing, and sat at the edge of the cliff around an hour, just trying to realize what happened. The more I looked down, the more I didn't want to jump off. After a while, I just got up and drove home. I took a shower, went to sleep, woke up immediately, felt a weight on my shoulders that hasn't gone away the whole day. I can't stop feeling immense shame and regret. I'm not sure what to do. If anyone has any advice or anything they want to add, please don't hesitate to share them. Well, that's heavy. You know what I mean? I think my advice is that you just got to find a way to get over this. Just go to therapy. You know, as I said, you chose that path to go and try your luck with the one night stand, and unfortunately, it didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. You know, as you go to these places, I think they're not going to be gentle towards you. They're going to be someone that's going to be very rough. They're only there for the money, and that's just what it is. You know what I mean? You're just a cash cow to them. So you probably felt violated. You probably felt, as I said, shame, all of those things. But you've just got to go to therapy and sort it out. You know, in the best case scenario is do that. I think that's the thing that could probably help you. If you don't do it, it could last and linger longer, and you could start feeling these thoughts again, these mad thoughts. So best case scenario is to go and speak to someone, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's all I've got for you. But that's wild. That's really wild. But yeah, Philly's doing okay, because that's heavy. You know what I mean? You thought your first time was going to be pleasant, fun, and it ends up not being. So that's heavy. I hope you find some solace somewhere. But yeah, that's it. And that's all this episode of Randy's Advice. We're going to move forward now. Before that, what do you think of what's gone on? Put your comments below on that one, or keep them to yourself. With that, we're going to move on now to What's the Word. So what's the word for this week? Stevo The Madman tells struggles of dating someone 10 years younger than him. Now, Stevo went on more to say that, you know, the person he's dating currently is asking for too much money, you know what I mean? And he feels like there's a barrier there where she constantly would seek money from him in terms of trying to keep him happy and stuff. Now, Stevo said he kind of understands what this is and understands that, you know, I feel he knows what it's all about. But the complaints of obviously dating someone that's younger than him, that's asking for money and security and all of this, and seen footage as well of his daughter confronting the woman as well, basically saying to her that she doesn't really feel that she's going to be around for long. You know what I mean? Like, he's just having some fun. You know, all this she was saying to her face. Do you know what I mean? That she doesn't know why she's just asking him for money all the time. You know what I mean? She said that all these things to her face, which, listen, big her up. You know, she's looking out for her dad and everything. And obviously Stevo right now, it's probably in a place where, you know, it's probably been a while since Stevo's been about town, because obviously we know he's broken up with the mother of his children, and he's decided to move on, and it hasn't worked out, so he's moved on to someone else. But all of this is just, you know, it's a cheap thrill ride, and I see it for what it is as well, as his daughter said too. You know what I mean? You're just there for a short time. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing, and I think Stevo and himself knows what this is. Stevo will probably know as well that I'm just here to have some fun. And he even said it in the video, I don't mind paying for her once in a while. But I think the constant thing with her asking majority of times, where the thing is where it's her wallet. You know what I mean? When you're going out and stuff, you're paying for her and you're doing all this stuff for her, and she doesn't seem to be taking out her wallet or her. That's a bit of a red flag, you know. And I think Stevo needs to check that, you know what I mean? Because I don't think this girl is really in it for Stevo. And if Stevo has gone there and he's done things with this girl and he's happy doing things with her and he's happy paying for it, then more for Stevo, innit? But if it's me, in a sense, while I'm looking at this thing, I just think, listen, this is a short-term thing. You're just there to have a bit of fun, and then you're just there to move on. You know what I mean? She's not potentially wifey material for you. She looks nice, got whatever you like in a Latina, you know what I mean? And you're feeling the vibes at this point in time. But just don't get gassed to the point where you think that this girl's going to give you the world. I don't think she's going to give him the world. And I think he should really understand this from perspective and know exactly what this is. This is just a bit of fun. At this point in time, it's nothing more than that. You know what I mean? Certain girls, you know that they're wifey life for life, and certain girls, you know that they're just, hey, stop gaps. You know what I mean? You're just there just to fill up time and just, you know, and that's just what it is. So, yeah. But good luck to Stevo. I just hope he doesn't fall for that trap and get caught in all that maze and all that, because it's a dark maze he could be going down. But anyways, that's near or there for me. That's not my business, it's Stevo's business. But I'm here to just tell you my thoughts. So let's move on to the next one. Well, we've not got no more what's the word, but that's what's the word for this week. Big yourselves up, guys. Well, we're going to move forward now to come on to the Premier League. Now, the Premier League, there was a lot that obviously happened in the Premier League this week. You know, match day 8, crazy stuff. You know what I mean? We're coming to obviously the games, and I will try to do the voice for the games. Okay. Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3. Sunderland 2, Wolves 0. Burnley 2, Leeds United 0. Crystal Palace 3, Bournemouth 3. Brighton 2, Newcastle 1. Man City 2, Everton 0. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. Tottenham 1, Aston Villa 2. Liverpool 1, Man United 2. Game that's going to be played today at 8 p.m. West Ham versus Brentford. As I said, it's not kicked off yet, so I can predict those games. I feel that it's going to be a draw. I'm going to go for 1-1 in this game. All right, thoughts on match day 8. You know, Chelsea 3-0 win against Nottingham Forest. It's a good result for Chelsea away from home. You know what I mean? But yet again, another red card for them. They just can't seem to stop these red cards, can they? Chelsea, something's going on with their disciplinary issues, isn't it? You know what I mean? But Nottingham Forest, Ange Postecoglou got sacked. Do you know what I mean? We saw that coming. You know what I mean? Hasn't really lasted 30 days, not even before Lent and all of that. The man's been sacked, but it was the case of where, why did he employ him in the first place? We all saw Big Ange's record at Tottenham, and we knew it wasn't good enough. I just don't understand why he employed him. You know what I mean? Just because he's mates, Greek mate. Oh yeah, fun times, mate. Yeah, Greek stuff. Yeah, we just mates because we have Greek background in there. No, that didn't save Ange, and that got him fired. But I just think that owner in charge just is very hasty with things. Not with Ange's appointment, I'm talking about Nuno. The firing of Nuno came from so left that I didn't understand it, to be honest. The man got you into Europe, and this is how you treated, man. Do you know what I mean? Where were Nottingham Forest the season before last? Where were Nottingham Forest 2-3 years ago? That just tells you it in itself. And the fact of the matter is that the man's not really understood everything and seen the bigger picture here. Tells me that he's the problem. But I get it. As a chairman, you want more from your team. You want more from the club that you've invested in, because obviously you want them to be rolling in the deep, making more money and taking you to new heights that you've never been before. But you're in Europe. You know what I mean? You've got a big chance in Europe, a big chance. And you've decided to throw that away by getting rid of Nuno. Do you know what I mean? The guy who got you there in the first place. For someone, right, let's say, okay, cool, he won a trophy with Tottenham, but the football he was playing and how he was taking so many risks led to him being sacked by Tottenham. Where were Tottenham in the table? 17th that season. Yeah, fair enough, they went on and won the Europa League, but that was because Man United were very poor. To be honest, on that game, watching that game was two poor teams just going at it. You know what I mean? Somehow managing to get to the final. Man United fluked their way there, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, I look at both teams and I said, well, it is what it is. But back on the case of Ange, should never have been employed by Nottingham Forest in the first place. Nuno should never have been sacked. Now, this is a lesson, obviously, to certain chairmen that sometimes you can't just be hasty with these decisions. You've got to see a bigger picture. You've got to give certain managers time, because especially if they've got you to a place that you've never been before, haven't been in a long time, because Last time Nottingham Forest were in Europe was probably like the 70s or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It was a long time, or 80s, one of them times. I don't know specific days and all of that, but it's been a long time for them. Do you know what I mean? It's something which galvanizes the new generation of fans, makes them get behind the team a lot more. Wow, we're here. We've never been here in a long time, but you've just gone and went, well, thank you for your services, Nuno. You can piss off now. Do you know what I mean? But it's crazy. But hey, it is what it is, isn't it? That I'm not Nottingham Forest's, chairman, and I generally don't know what's going through his mind. So it is what it is. All right. Sunderland 2, Wolves 0. It's a great result for Sunderland, beating Wolves. 2 goals for them at home. I think it was a very important win for them to get that. So very good for them. Burnley 2-0 win against Leeds United. Again, a good win for Burnley. I think this was their first win of the season, I believe. But against 2 teams that came up, Burnley, good job for them winning at home. I think it was very important for them to win this game. So good mark for them to get off the mark. Crystal Palace 3, Bournemouth 3. Probably one of the entertaining games that obviously, unfortunately, I didn't watch, but I saw the highlights. Mateta, 3 goals. Mateta, you know what I mean? And all that stuff come out from him, Wilfred Zaha. I don't know what the whole deal is, but it looks a bit mad. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's all about football. And Crystal Palace managed to get a draw from that game where it looked like it was probably heading Bournemouth's way in the last minute. Crystal Palace struck. So, good, high, entertaining game. I would obviously have loved to have watched that, but it is what it is. Missed start on that one, but hey. Brighton 2, Newcastle 1. You know what I mean? Big win for Brighton. Danny Welbeck, 2 goals. You know what I mean? Voltemade. You know what I mean? Or Voldemort. I have to say his name correctly now. This man is bagging goals, isn't it? So, Voltemade, you know what I mean? Scored a brilliant flick-tailed goal. You know what I mean? But wasn't enough to stop and give Brighton the win. So Brighton win at home. Man City 2-0 win against Everton. Man City 2-0 winners on the day. Erling Haaland, scoring 2 goals. In this form, Erling Haaland is very unstoppable. It's very hard to stop Erling Haaland because obviously of the form he's in and what he continues to do right now. One of the most informed strikers obviously in the league right now, and he's just making it happen. So Erling Haaland right now is just pulling up the numbers, isn't he? You know what I mean? This guy obviously that I'm not very keen of, obviously clashed with Gabriel and my defenders. So, but it is what it is. This guy continues to score goals and continues to be a nuisance. So I kind of expected it because obviously he's in my fantasy league and all of that. I don't really pay attention to it, but he is in there. So Arsenal 1-0 win against Fulham. You know what I mean? I think it's a good result for us. I did watch the game in parts, so I couldn't give you my ask and I shall deliver. You know what I mean? So I saw it in parts, and I saw the Trossard goal. You know what I mean? Set piece again, ole ole. But it is what it is. We right now do what it needs to do. As long as it gets us over the line, we win the game. I don't really business, to be honest. People be like, oh, come on. Yeah, I mean, cool. Yeah, the football's not great to watch at times, but as long as we win the game, and as long as this could lead us to winning something, silverware, I'm not really that fussed about it. Obviously, down the line, we can worry about it later and all of that. You know what I mean? So it's something obviously that is a bit concerning because I would love us to just take teams away, but at this point in time, I'd rather us just win the game. You know what I mean? Yes, these teams that are bogey teams for us that we tend to come to and we don't seem to have an answer to. At least we had an answer this time. So I'm very happy that we did win the game. But it's the case where a lot of people are obviously on Gyökeres' back. The fact that Gyökeres hasn't scored a goal yet in the last 3 or 4 games, and he's only scored 3 goals so far this season. I still think what I've seen from him, his hold-up play is still very good. He's someone who's interacting with his team a lot more. turns away, he's passing and he's trying to move off the ball and everything. Sorry for the background noise. He's trying to move off the ball a lot more, and unfortunately it's just not coming the way he's hoped. But I do hope that he continues, and I do hope that he does find the net very soon. He just needs to relax and just take his time, and it should be coming when he just relaxes, takes his time. Because I did see him looking like he was rushing a few shots, you know what I mean, just seemed desperate to try and score. Sometimes just take your time, you know what I mean, just be in the areas that you need to be in and just keep doing what you're doing. I think it will come. So I don't really have too much qualms about it right now. I think obviously if we're talking about it more to like past mid-season, if we're going on to like probably past the point of like January, February, then that's when it starts to be a bit of a concern, to be honest. But I think he's got the right tools. I just think he just needs to get that confidence level up where he can find the net. But above all, yeah, 3 points is what it is. Game wasn't that great. What more can I say about it? We got over the line, you know. We had many shots. I think Fulham didn't have any shots on our goal, which I've heard quite a few people saying Fulham played better than us when they didn't really have any shots on goal. How does that work? But anyways, you know, I think Fulham fought for it, but I don't think they did enough. I think it was generally quite an even game, to be honest, than saying Fulham was better. And I don't think Fulham was, but I think we did what we need to do and we got over the line. You know what I mean? Set piece again, ole. So it is what it is. All right, Tottenham losing 2-1 to Aston Villa. You know, Aston Villa, good win for Aston Villa. 2-1 win against Tottenham. You know, they needed that, to be honest. They really did, because the Aston Villa haven't really looked great away from home, so they finally have got the win away from home at Tottenham's ground, and I think it's a good one for them. So Liverpool losing 2-1 to Man United. You know what I mean? Big result for Man United. Big result. Do you know what I mean? And this Ruben Amorim's first win against like one of the top 6 teams, I believe. I don't think he's beaten another one. I think Man City was probably the other one he did beat, but it's a big win against Liverpool. You know what I mean? That's 4 defeats in a row now for Liverpool. You know what I mean? In all competitions. It does raise some eyebrows, but I don't think it's a concern. I think they do need to start their regular guys who know how to put the ball in the back of the net. Like Ekitike should have started in that game. And I do think Frimpong should have started in that game as well. I think if you had them guys playing and probably bringing Salah off the bench, you know what I mean, I think he could have done a lot more wonders for Liverpool, because they were creating chances, but they just didn't put them away. I mean, obviously Gakpo hit the post like 3 times, and then Gakpo should have scored with the header at the end. But you look at that and you say, the defensive side of Liverpool, they got some real issues there. The communication, they do need to work on that a lot more. But I'm an Arsenal fan. At the end of the day, it's one of our title rivals, so you want to see them drop points. Do you know what I mean? Just saying it is what it is. But I do think that this isn't over for Liverpool. I still think they will be in the title race. No doubt about it. I still think they are favourites to win this championship, regardless of anything, because they have got a strong squad. They have got guys in there that can change game. It's just about them, you know, putting it together and gelling, and I feel like that's going to come in time. So I don't think for Liverpool fans they should worry about it. You know what I mean? I think it's very early in the season to be worrying about that. So that's just what I think on that. So cool. All right, well, that's all for the Premier League. Now we're going to come on to predict match day 9, which should be kicking off on Friday, 24th October. Leeds United versus West Ham. I'm going to go for a... this one's a tough one to call. It's at 8 p.m, the game. I'm going to go for West Ham winning. Why? I don't know. I just have a big feeling that West Ham are going to snatch something out. It's 2-1 West Ham. Chelsea against Sunderland. This is a Saturday game, 3 p.m. I'm going to go for Chelsea winning this one. Again, probably a tight result. So, but I think a late goal could see it out. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Chelsea win. Newcastle versus Fulham. Newcastle, yeah. Again, I think it'll be a tight one. So I'm going to go 1-0 Newcastle. Man United versus Brighton. I think after Man United's display, they should have risen But Man United, this wishy-washy team, they're up 1 minute and then they're down the next minute. Brighton are going to cause them problems because Brighton, they're usually very good against teams, and they can put on a good performance. So I do think this can end a draw, 1-1. Brentford versus Liverpool. Liverpool would need to answer back here, but this is going to be a tough test against Brentford. I see a draw here, 1-1. Wolves versus Burnley. Either or, to be honest. Either or, Doesn't matter if Wolves are at home. I think Wolves at times looked promising, but at times they've looked sloppy. So it's either or here. But I'm going to go with a draw, 1-1. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. No, we should get a result against Palace. But this is not going to be an easy game, to be honest. I don't think it's going to be easy. Mateta's going to cause us problems. And Eddie Nketiah could also horn us as well. 2-1 Arsenal, I'm going to go for. Aston Villa versus Man City. Man City, 3-1 Man City. Bournemouth versus Nottingham Forest, I'm going to go for Bournemouth. 1-0 Bournemouth. Everton versus Tottenham, I'm going to go for I'll probably see a draw here as well, to be honest. 1-1. Yeah, 1-1. And that's it for the Premier League. So that's my thoughts on that. We're now going to come on to here to be the champion. Yeah, it's a poor whistle that was, but it is what it is. Let's try and get onto that. Is that to Madman? Brilliant. All right. There we go. Right. Champions League. Match day 3. Barcelona versus Olympiacos, which is on tomorrow at 5:45. I'm going to go for Barcelona winning. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Barcelona win. Karat versus Paphos. Just Karat, I think. Maybe a 2-1 Karat win. Newcastle versus Benfica. Yeah, Newcastle should win this one, shouldn't they? Yeah, I'm going to go Newcastle here. 3-1 Newcastle. PSV versus Napoli. Napoli. 2-1 Napoli. Leverkusen versus PSG. I'm going to go for PSG winning this one. 3-2 PSG. Union Saint-Gilloise versus Inter Milan. I'm going to go for Inter Milan. Again, another tight 1-0. Copenhagen versus Dortmund. I'm going to go for Dortmund winning. 2-1 Dortmund. Villarreal versus Manchester City. Man City. 2-0 Man City. Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid. I think this is one we could slip up in, to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think we could slip up in this one. Defensively, I think we're rock solid, but I think Simeone just has that guile. I'm going to go for a draw on this one, 1-1. Athletic Club versus Karabag. I'm going to go for Athletic Club. 3-1 Athletic Club. 2-1. Galatasaray versus Bodo Glimt. I'm going to go for Galatasaray. 2-0. Chelsea versus Ajax. Chelsea. 3-1 Chelsea. Real Madrid versus Juventus. Real Madrid. 3-1 2-1. Yeah. Sporting versus Marseille. Marseille. Yeah. 2-1 Marseille. Monaco versus Tottenham. Tottenham. Just 2-1. Atalanta versus Slavia Praha. Atalanta. 3-0 Atalanta. Eintracht Frankfurt versus Liverpool. 2-1 Liverpool. Bayern Leverkusen versus Club Brugge. Bayern. 4-1 Bayern. And that's it for my predictions. And that's all for this podcast. Big up you guys, first time watchers, season watchers, big yourselves up. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Anything, put your comments below. We can keep them to yourself. With that, we've come to the end. Thank you guys for your time. Peace, love, unity, have fun. And you're either all in or clear out. Shoot, forgot to add one more thing before we go. Wrestle Dream, AEW. I was about to forget. Very good, thoroughly enjoyable, great watch. AEW just know how to do pay-per-views, and that pay-per-view is an absolute banger. Do you know what I mean? Great matches, above all, fantastic. For me, the whole thing, out of 10, I'd give it a very strong 8.7 out of 10. I think it was a solid pay-per-view. Very, very good. Match of the night, I love hardcore matches. Darby Allin versus John Moxley was my match of the night. But there's many others. I thought they were all generally really good. You know what I mean? But that one, just because of the craziness and the level of obsceneness that was going on, yeah, that one for me just topped it. So brilliant pay-per-view, great watch, thoroughly enjoyable. I'd spread it over 2 nights because I couldn't watch all of it in one night, but very good, thoroughly enjoyable. The only gripe I'd say is their pay-per-views are very long. Do you know what I mean? 4-5 hours. It is quite long. Do you know what I mean? But when you're watching it all and you're seeing the wrestling unfold, the amount of good stuff that's there, sometimes it just takes that a little bit away. But the only problem is that. But very good. Very, very good.